Welcome to the Spirit Mom Podcast, where we discuss spiritual practices for healing, happiness, and a life of purpose after your child transitions back to spirit. I'm your host, Shawl Adams, inviting you to join us each Monday for enlightening conversations about spirituality, communicating with spirit, and our loving eternal relationships. My guest this week is Hortensia Frelinghuysen. She is an international best-selling author, transformational spiritual healer, and energy medicine alchemist. With over 3 decades of investigative research, she bridges the gap between science and spirituality, bringing profound insight into the field of energy healing. Hortensia, welcome to this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I feel so honored to be here with you today.
You know, I'm very excited about this interview. I really want to learn about what you do. I know that you've done some pretty incredible work in helping people heal. What is the work that you do?
Okay, so really basically after many years of practice, I call myself the energy alchemist. And it is the word that it changed the energy of the physical body, of the emotional body, the psychological body, and the spiritual body energetically. We are energy beings. So everything starts there, right? When we have imbalances in our physical body, is because we are affected because of the emotions that we experience during our life. So, what is energy healing alchemy? Is the understanding and the knowing of energy, how it works in the body, what it causes, the imbalances, and how to straighten that out, how to bring the connection, let's say reconnection, so the body can act in a very effective and healthy way, interact with all life, because sometimes we don't do it when we are like in deep emotions. Okay, and that causes all our stomach pain and our heartache and our foggy brain and difficulties to express ourselves and to know what we want, local clarity, all these things. So what I do with the work of alchemy, that is refers to an ancient terminology, right? It started by a master. They say ascended master. I don't know if you ever hear about him, Saint Germain, right? They say work in USA with this country, specifically now in the inner world. So they say that he has several lifetimes where he did this work, where he was able to transform like metal, ordinary metal, in gold. Okay, the parallel with alchemy, with energy, is I have the gift, right? And I'm very humble about it. And I've been used it wisely and for the goodness of everyone, which is I love and adore my purpose. So I able to refine and shift the pain, the illnesses, the imbalances, all into the more perfect expression for the person who is suffering. Getting rid of that only with physical illness, like 95.9%, I can do this, right? And why? Because I cultivate this and I have it within me, but I have to study with every guru for a long time. And I do it every day and I serve every day. I love to do this. So medical intuitive also, it was a term that I used at the beginning, which is you have very heightened your abilities to see with your third eye, with your heart. It's really your heart who perceive all these things, and you can feel the state of mind or the physical body or the other human being, the animals and the lands and the plants, because I connect with everything when we have intuition developed, and everybody has. but we are at different levels. It's a work to believe in ourselves, and I can teach this step by step, and it's amazing how people can get it fast. I love it. Yeah. Did I explain that right?
You absolutely did. And I really wish that listeners could see you as you're speaking, because all of that energy truly comes through. And I can see how much love you have for people and for the work that you're doing.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. It's
You're
true.
welcome.
Yeah.
I would love for you to talk about some of the testimonials that you've received, because you've done some incredible work with people who needed healing. And I'd love for you to share some of those stories.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Yesterday, well, I have many testimonials. I cannot even tell you. I have only like 25 or 30 in my website, but I keep receiving them, right? And so lately, the last one that I received the last week, a few days ago, was a spiritual entrepreneur, right? This is our help. I help these people, especially female spiritual entrepreneurs, because they are all here to change the world, to impact the world with their wisdom, with their love, with their knowledge, and with the amazing capacities. I see when I do this work, it's like a ripple effect. Like we can expand this in the new era or new earth that we are all creating, because many things are being like falling apart in this planet, and it's because we are being more authentic. We are bringing all of us this code that I bring to help people, of truth, of integrity, unconditional love, or service, or really respect for all life. All life, I mean the earth, nature, the trees, the animals, and everyone, right? The children, the elderly. So all life is precious, I say sacred, no? So that's why I honor this. So this lady in particular, we met through somebody else, a teacher that I wanted to learn with someone, right? Because I don't know much about marketing and all these things, because I'm doing like spiritual work all the time. So I went and learned, and she said, well, I know why you're here, because I need you. So she hired me instead. Right? And then immediately, because of our conversation, immediately told someone, and she hired me on the spot. And she had precancer cells, a very beautiful young lady who have a business, but the ex took away from her. So I stole everything from her. So I start all over. Right? She was so angry, just so sad that we start working together. For me, I start with the trauma, right? So removing and make her aware of all the pain that she has, that the cause the anxiety, because the inability to change that. And why me, right? Why you do this to me when we created for 17 years together, for example. And then it's gone by her hand, like almost legally, and then there's nothing that she can do. So that sadness, all that create that. And so we talk about it, and then I did what I know, removing the energies of all the desperation and the unfairness and the victimization. And I know how to do it very well, because I mastered it, because I study and I understand, and I know how to use exactly the frequencies that I needed to shift it. So next session, she didn't even remember the pain, right? So by the time she went to the doctor, it was completely, she had precancer cells in the cervix. So it's completely negative. So it's totally okay now, healthy. And she learned so much lesson. We learned how to forgive. And she's also is an angel reader. She's a beautiful woman. So I feel so honored to be able to impact, right? Emerging healers, advanced healers. Why? Because I already went through all the pain myself in different situations. So I understand you so well. I know, but on top of that, I have the gift to see everything and move everything, to put it in the correct place. It's like I've been just sweeping all the pain with all the trauma, and then everything is come. People can really feel that who they are, right? In balance and grateful, have clarity. So yes, maybe we can listen. It's very beautiful.
Oh my goodness. There is so much to say about working with Hortensia. I've worked with healers for probably the last 15 years in a variety of different ways, but Hortensia blew my mind. There are people that tell you that they can heal and support and cure things from a distance. And for a lot of people, that seems like a really big leap. But the work that Hortensia did on me was truly miraculous. I had some precancerous cells that I was really concerned about. We worked on getting rid of those cells, cleaning out the area, cleaning out anything in my body that was causing a limitation. And what's amazing about Hortensia is you can feel what she does. And it is so powerful. I literally would feel her working from the top of my body down to the lower part of my body, and it blew my mind every time. She is the type of healer that if you want to move big things, you want to work on health issues, you want to change the way you feel about yourself or even what you're able to accomplish in business, she is incredible at doing the deep work on you so that you can move forward in your life in the most magical, beautiful ways. And I'm an entrepreneur, so this is very real for me. I create transformation in many people's lives, but Hortensia's transformation blew my mind. Not only did she help me get rid of the precancerous cells, but she also helped my son. He had 102 fever. He was unable to get out of bed. He was completely exhausted, migraines for 3 days straight. She worked on him, and within one session, he is back to his normal energy. He doesn't have any pain in his head. His fever was gone immediately. It's so powerful. If you are thinking about working with her, if you're on the edge of deciding she is the real deal, you need to do some work with her, you will be so thankful that you did. And I just want to say thank you, Hortensia, for everything you do, for all the wonderful people in this world. More people need to know about you. Thank you so, so much for everything.
So, yeah, that's a beautiful testimonial.
Really. And then I have so many, it's incredible. People that have surgery, they remove the hip, 80 years old, and start walking next day, right? Because they hired me to do that, and we are the whole time. And then no pain, no crazy like the time before. You will read, if you read testimonials. Have other one with the spinal cord injuries, and they couldn't walk. And then after the sessions, start walking in Hawaii. And I had video also like her 2-minute video, and she described exactly how he feel like I move all the bones in there because I use energy. It is frequency that I can carry through here, through my hands, because it's the divine energy, right, coming in, and I know how to use it. So that's it. So I think everybody can do it. Everybody should learn this. Yeah, now it's so many machines and people plug and okay, this is gonna heal me, and then why we don't learn how to do it because it's easier, right? But I will start doing that. Need to organize myself. Yeah.
Are you planning to teach people how to do the work you do?
Yes, yeah. I will start taking people within levels, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, until the more advanced. I developed this for 48 years. I can tell you, can I tell you a little bit how this started?
Oh,
It
absolutely.
started like, yeah, I was like, since I was a little girl, like 5 years old, I can feel the pain of people, right? I born in the third world country where if I go, my mommy take me to the downtown, right? And I see all these people in the street, no legs, and asking for money. And the animals, they're being killed in the street because a bus was driving and they leave them there. And I grew up with a broken heart, right? I cannot take it. And I thought, oh, what I can do, how that could be. So I couldn't sleep. Only I say, why I'm here? Why did I born? I was questioning my own life. I couldn't understand. And top of that, my mother didn't like me. That was the worst. So I want to get out. Right. And I almost figured out at 6 years old how to get out, but I survived. So my quest in life was to find out how I can help, how I can release the pain of others. And look at what I'm doing now. So I got it. After a lot of painful situation in my teenagers year, I decided to study philosophy because that will answer who I am, right? So I started doing that. And I was atheist like my father, which was the most compassionate man. And my mother was Catholic, which was more cruel person because she was cruel to me. I had nothing wrong, right? And now I realize I thought it was everything wrong because I born. I said, oh my God, I came here and I wasn't invited. Kind of. So I questioned that all my life. I don't know if that happened to you or somebody else. It's so common. That's what I do this work of childhood trauma because I've been there, right? So by the time that I went to university, I have a spiritual experience, an awakening. And since then, it was so incredible that sustained me until today. The same sensation, the same passion, the same love, because the same view, right? I was seeking so desperately that I couldn't find myself. I couldn't find the answer. How I want to change this thing, right? So finally, I have a spiritual experience where I transform myself in a micro and a microcosm. And it was and the both at the same time. So I traveled to that in an instant and I saw like how God is, right? Kind of, even though I try when I was studying philosophy, I tried to sing God and my head almost exploded. my I feel like it was so limited, my brain, I couldn't understand it. I tried all the ways that I could being an atheist, right? And so like get out of my body when I was alone in a chair. So, I mean, nobody helped me, nobody hold me. I like born again, right? And with no help. I just, oh my God. So I went crazy. And I was in a second floor I was in a class where everybody was enlightened by me. I couldn't. I said, wow, oh, again, I cannot find myself. And all of a sudden this happened. Thank God. So I went downstairs where everybody left and I started screaming and then people had to grab me because I found it. You are lying. We are all lying. Don't know it. We don't know. So, and I started having so much energy that I had to release it on the plants. Yeah, I put my hands because I can feel it, right? And it's like all my senses, the five physical senses, we have inner senses. It's like they all open at the same time. Oh my goodness. So I see visions and I see the real thing. And then from there, I just went into my room and I stayed there for weeks and weeks because I had to process. And I told my mother, can you read the Bible with me? My mother said, what happened to her? So, but nobody can get me. What happened to me? Soon after, I found somebody, right? It turned to be a cult by someone who starts talking about the words of Jesus, which are very enlightened. When I read that, it's like light coming up. The whole thing is not real, but that part, I started talking about oneness, makes so much sense. About love, made all the sense, right? About healing, how I heal people, all the sense. But I didn't know I'm going to do this work. I do like Jesus, but in levels, right? He do it like in the Bible, like one time, okay, clean. So when we have some people have a lot of negative experience, are very angry and rage, and they have violent thoughts and actions. There's something called entities. So I'm an expert on that. I know how to remove even the worst kind. I can do that. I don't advertise it, but we all have that. Sometimes anger, frustration, by remove that skillfully, you're free. And then that's it. You can recreate yourself. It's beautiful, right? So that's how I started. And then in no time, I left university. My last year, I was writing a book about philosophy of the religions. And I started living in that's how I entered, like, I didn't know was a cult that I had to escape after because they condemn you, you're going to die, you live, right? I can, and that's why a lot of people that are coming from, are being victimized in those groups coming to me just like that, right? I have people from India coming what the guru did to them. And when I start doing the work and I see, and they can see, I have somebody so intuitive, he said, I see you remove that it's like a knife out of my chest, and you was a blue light. Describe me. And she was free from that point on. They had to escape. So people who come to me because I never knew how to do marketing or advertising myself or anything, it's like they come. So referrals, that's what I've been doing. Now I try to shift, right? So I'm learning how, to create a program. That's why I didn't have program. I just taking care of people every day for 30 years, every day. But also I teach big group meditation. I love to teach that, right? Yeah. So I left a university and I went to live inside, and then I learned about all the religions, like Tibetan Buddhism, or all the what they do, the gurus. I become a yogi and I start practicing 3 hours a day, and I start continue my. I did 10 years of missionary work every day in the street, loving people, healing people, hugging people, give all my money, all my food, everything. So I was happy, right? So I see amazing miracle happen in my life, right? So finally I met a man and I came to USA with no wanting to come. I came to USA and he left me for somebody else. So I started, that was really the test, right? Where all the inness that we can connect and express that we all have, it has to come out, because that's how I start my work, right? And now I think I come to a full circle with what I do, because I cultivate the wisdom, the love, the compassion, the giving, and planting seeds everywhere, planting seeds. Yeah, and many women that are so amazing, are many doing, having this path. And sometimes you are like uh, in a cage, right, in a relationship, and a situation that we don't like, right? So we all seeking this freedom, but we all entitled, we all can do it, we all can be happy. So this is my message, right? And I know how I can teach you, I can take you there very fast.
That's beautiful. So I am very curious, when you're working with people, I heard you talking about you're getting them in alignment. And so do they have their own spiritual awakening? Are you able to help people do that?
Yes, specifically when they are hurting so much and they are very angry. I didn't understand. I was there when I was feeling rejected by mother, by my inability to help the world, by saying, why am I a fish out of the water? Why am I here? I'm not understanding why I even exist like a human being. I really went too deep. So how I help them. We have a conversation, right? We call it coaching or mentoring. So because I study and I have a doctorate, right, and 7 master degrees in the healing arts, I decided to study to prove my mother that I was able, because she's gonna say, "You stupid, you crazy," right? So I did it more like her, even though I have it all. It's all within us, really. So I did that. I have like a wall full of diplomas, right? So just to prove her, but the diplomas are in a drawer. At the end, nobody care, because I can do the same. Oh, by the way, my mother is my best friend now. She loved the healings, right?
Oh,
And
that's so good. That's so
she's
good.
my follower. Whenever I go live in Facebook, she called me master, master, and I call her for her
Oh, I
name. Oh,
love
yeah,
that.
yeah. She really, and she called me every day. Of course, sometimes it's so needy, but she's a widow and she's over 80. And I love her. I love her. She brings me such a big lesson. I could not be angry at her, even though she tried purposely hurt me. I say, okay, whatever. I'm bigger than this. Yeah. So specifically, can you repeat the question? I think talking about my mother, I went out of the subject.
Yeah, I would love for you to talk about the process you use.
Yeah.
And do people come to their own spiritual awakening? Because that was something that happened to you. It was something that happened to me that started me, going down this path as well. So if you could talk
I can
about
tell.
how you might help people really connect to their spirit within.
Yeah. So first of all, the conversation that we have, and I coach them to see who they are, and coach them why they are in the pain they are, right? What is the part that I chose the way, why they make it here? And then I scan. A scan is like with my hands and my third eye, I measure and I see, the chakras are centers, right? Energy centers in traditionally they teach 7, but it's not that. It's so many other ones, right? But I'm the expert in all the other ones, right? So the deepest part. So this is like easy for people to understand, I guess, and but this is not it. It's more than that. But these 7 vortex of energy are moving, right, in both way, like the clock and the counterclockwise and clockwise, right? And when they absorb from the environment negativity or positivity, and when go the other side is spell, right? So this is how I can tell how much are hurting and where this coming. So I read the energy in the chakras, which you know what it is? It's our soul. It's our light that is in there, right? Only is affecting act like that. It's a methodology that it has our soul to feed life into our body and help us to manifest the best possible functioning of our physical body, right? So that's what it is, like different systems, like my brain, my throat, the way I express, my heart, the way I love, my solar plexus, the way that I stand with the reproductive system, the way that I feel they have connection with the other part, sex, right? The vitality and the basic chakra, which is connected to the earth. I call it Mother Earth or Pachamama. And it's the way we move ourselves in the world and the way that we manifest our dream. If we are very weak, it's like we are stuck, kind of. But when I work in that part and we open up that, the money comes, the new opportunity comes, the understanding of everything that it is, and more love for the creation is there, right? Yeah. So after that, I depend on the illness that they have or what are manifesting, for example, depression, right? So I know where is the centers that are holding this pattern of depression. So what I do, I have immediately a way to check how it is that, how it's affecting the body, and I remove it out and then replace with divine energy, right? Like energizing and then protection after that, and then you're new. This is the way it is. Yes, when I have you in the session, is 1 hour always. And when it's an entity, it's like more like, and it's affecting your limbs, your legs or arms, or your necks or your brain, you cannot think whatever. I will have you resting the next day, or we do it at nighttime where you adjust to the new energies, right? It's like little surgeries that I have to, it's like cut and stop and move and soy and the whole thing. Yeah. So when I'm in there, I'm in many places because sometimes people say, oh, what are you doing? My brain, I said, no, I'm working in your toes. So she's feeling it here, you see? But they can feel it because that is affecting, you see, the physical body, even the way it moves and the way he was moving his foot, sorry. So it's very interesting when people said, this is how I feel it here. I said, oh, I'm not working there. I work it right here, right? It's very interesting, beautiful, right? So finally, and then peace and calm come after that, and they feel so much better that people can sing, can see, can feel themselves. They're expanding in love. And of course, I give you all the follow-up interaction like, okay, let's eat this, let's take these supplements, report to me in one day. It's not, I've been calling them, right? I mean, I'm like a mama, a South American mama on top of the kids kind of. So usually I'm the one who initiates because I'm there, right? It's like I have an hospital in the ether, like with all my clients, and then I check in. And this is what I do. It's easy for me. Yeah, I love it. So I'm very dedicated. I do that only that. I never watch a movie. I don't do that. I just do my thing. And my kid thinks, "Oh, mom, you're weird." I say, "Okay, I love you." Right.
Now, Hortensia, I know that you've also written some books. Do you want to talk a little bit about those?
Yeah, really, I was co-author book, and I had to really fight to get the time to do it. It was more like the story that I already told you about my childhood and how I get to the awakening time and how I become a healer, but also what was the thing that I decide, helped me to decide to do it. And if it's okay with you, I can tell you the story, how all it started. What was the event that made me say, okay, I do this because I didn't want to, right? But well, in those two books, one is called Awakening and the other one is Birth, right? Is it like parallel to birthing the new earth? And it was me about motherhood. Because remember, when I was 8 years, I had my first baby in Chile, and I was dancing the night before in a party, and I was only 8 months pregnant, and I started to having all the contractions. So she born 1 month early by C-section, and I hear her crying all night, and it breaks my heart completely. I feel so guilty that I was so ignorant. I was like a child, 19 years old. I no training, no nothing. I don't know God to trust or pray, nothing. So it was traumatic for her, I guess, and for me too. It hurt so much, the cat. So when I was in my spiritual path and I met this man, I have my other kids, I decided, oh, really? The doctors say you can only have 3 kids and all C-section. I said, really? I don't think so. And I have 4 more and all natural birth. Some born at home, where my oldest one cut with the scissor and I singing, right? So I mean, it's a story of all the strength that we can get. That's what I was mentioned before. All the strength when you know who you are. You learn who you are, and then you trust the universe, and then you remember. So you do these things. Oh, this is what I want to do, right? This is optimal for my baby. This is what's my idea, right? So that's what I did. So I explain in one of the books the birth, about the giving birth to all these kids against what doctors say. No, you're never gonna do that. I said, really? Watch me, right? Yeah. So that's one. And the other one, Awakening, is similar, but more like my life as a healer and my experience when I went to go all over the world, trying to connect with the earth, Mother Earth, of Pachamama, in every area of the meridians that in 2010-12 is because the Kundalini energy of the air was traveling from India to South America, right? So I went straight to Patagonia and I saw incredible thing here. And then when I went all up in South America, all the way to USA, and then Asia. So I meditate in all these places. I bring the waters because I work with the waters, right? We are 75% water. Guess what? When we have these experiences and the remembrance of the pain, it go immediately into the cell of our being that are floating in water, right? And so the memory is there. So I help to remove that memory after, right? So when I bring the waters, I do my special elixirs with the waters of all these sacred places, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. I know that there's going to be some listeners who will want to work with you. I will put all your information into the show notes, but could you just say briefly the best way that somebody could find you so that they could work with you?
Yes. The best way would be I will put my website, my email, and then you can always message me in Facebook, right? That's the best way. Sometimes people connect with me right there. And I have an Instagram account also. And I'm creating a school now in a platform out of Facebook. It's called SKL. So I'm starting with that, which is a free for everyone to come, where I do this healing weekly or bi-weekly, depends, for free, right? And so everybody come and ask, you tell me what you need, right? It's just a service. And then maybe you decide that you have some illness or you need to clear something in your path that you have to have clarity, right? Incredible, right? So when we clear all these things, and I know how to do it from the physical to the emotional to the mental and to the spiritual, it brings us in a really in a circular, in a oneness. We become whole, right? And we express ourselves in this world. And this is the time to do it.
Hortensia, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I hope that in the future we can have you back and continue our conversation. I know that there'll be a lot of people wanting to reach out to you. So again, I will put all your contact information in our show notes.
Well, thank you so much. It has been a pleasure. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I love to impact together now the world, right? So I would love to come back to the show. And thank you for creating this as a podcast. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Spirit Mom podcast, where we discuss spiritual practices for healing, happiness, and a life of purpose after your child transitions back to spirit. Join us each Monday for enlightening conversations about spirituality, communicating with spirit, and our loving eternal relationships. Links to reach out to myself and my guest are listed in the show notes. I'm your host, Shawl Adams, wishing you a joyful week, and I'll see you next Monday.